Tonight, local students left in limbo following the suspension of TAFE courses across South Australia and the mammoth journey for massive wind farm blades as they make their way to Broken Hill.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. Students in Port Lincoln, Whyalla and Port Pirie have been affected by the suspension of TAFE courses across South Australia. Over 800 students statewide are now asking questions over the future of their study. Jason Kemp has more.
The developing crisis surrounding TAFE SA will affect students in regional parts of the state, with Certificate 3 in Ageing already suspended in Port Lincoln, Port Pirie and Whyalla, while Certificate 3 hairdressing students in Whyalla will no longer be granted qualifications. The revelations come as 14 courses were suspended in SA after an audit into 16 TAFE SA qualifications. The courses ranging from hairdressing to plumbing were suspended for being substandard for not providing students with skillful knowledge to accurately complete the job. They also did not meet Australian qualification standards. On Monday, when the findings were released, TAFE SA Chairman Peter Vaughan was sacked while the Chief Executive resigned. Minister for Education Susan Close has since commissioned an independent review, with fears this has only scratched the surface of a much deeper problem within TAFE.
Not only do I need to hold the people who operate the organisation to account, but I also need to set up a review so that we can really get underneath what has happened and how we can fix it.
Locally, the member for Flinders says the qualification crisis hits at a terrible time.
Well, it's really becoming something of a debacle that couldn't have come at a worse time. We've got an ageing population, we've got growing demand for services into ageing.
The opposition has called for the Education Minister to step down, but she's standing firm.
Did at any point you consider resigning over this?
No, I didn't.
While Mr Treloar says the system needs an overhaul.
Course delivery into the trades are critically important in this state's economy and in this region's economy, so the problem needs to be fixed.
Southern Cross News has spoken to affected students who say they now find themselves in limbo and are calling for a compensation scheme for those affected.
Jason Kemp reporting there. It's been revealed that Nyrstar has offered a new enterprise agreement to workers at the Port Pirie smelter. The Australian Workers' Union says the new agreement comes after years of negotiations. Rachel Nell has more.
A new enterprise bargaining agreement between the two parties will see workers at Port Pirie smelter not receive any pay increases during their first 2 years of working under the new agreement. However, in the third year of the agreement, employees will receive a 4% pay increase. Smelter employees voted on the enterprise agreement last month, following years of negotiations between the Australian Workers' Union and Nyrstar. Employees voted in favour of the new agreement, which is set to move the company forward over the next 3 years. But the AWU says workers were left disappointed after Nyrstar took an aggressive stance towards the negotiation process, which saw the company make an application to terminate the agreement. It says Nyrstar terminating the negotiations would force employees back onto the old agreement, resulting in a significant wage decrease and dated terms and conditions for employees. The new agreement is set to come into effect once the application has been lodged to the Fair Work Commission.
Rachel Nell in Port Pirie there. Broken Hill's Mayor says council does support the local footy league's application for state funding to upgrade Jubilee Oval, but she says a governance program meant it couldn't approve the possibility of investing $50,000 in the project just yet.
It was a decision that sparked confusion around the Silver City. At last month's council meeting, the city's mayor made the final call on a deadlocked vote, deciding against potentially investing $50,000 to help fund an upgrade to the city's main footy oval.
8 years ago when council nearly ran out of cash and we just had to put a whole heap of governance in place, and we've made a commitment, and we've made a very strong commitment that we will ensure that we have checks and balances for everything.
Council has said it supports the league's application for over $1 million of funding from the state government's Regional Sports Infrastructure Fund. However, the mayor says the application for council support must go through the normal process, like everything else.
For us, I think everybody knows that we're still running a deficit budget, and we just want to make sure that every grant that comes out of the blue, every request that we actually try and meet the governance around it.
Paul Edwards from Foundation Broken Hill, which is assisting the League in its funding submission, says the negative decision won't stop the process.
That doesn't mean the submission doesn't go ahead. So the submission will continue, and we're hopeful that at some point in time Council may reconsider their position.
If the submission gets through the first stage, despite the oval not being a council asset, he hopes the upgrade potential will see wider economic benefits for the town.
$50,000 with the potential of a $2 million return is good business in anyone's language. An upgrade of between $1.5 and $2 million has the potential of attracting external sports, and it will be great for business in Broken Hill.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
After the break, the mammoth journey as the Silverton Wind Farm begins to take shape. The details next. The government has extended the genetically modified crop ban in South Australia until 2025. The controversial sanction on GM crops has received a mixed response from many, but some farmers believe the choice should be up to them.
It's the farming issue that has the industry divided, to GM or not to GM.
From a broadacre grains perspective, I don't see the advantage of that. I don't see it reflected in pricing. When I say pricing, I'm talking canola, wheats and barleys. Perhaps some of those niche type products, there are some advantages, but certainly broadacre growers are not realising that potential yet.
South Australia is the only mainland state to ban genetically modified crops. Last month, that ban was extended by 6 years. That bill passed through Parliament by a single vote.
I don't believe it's for a government to tell farmers what they can and can't grow. Ultimately, it will be an economic decision for farmers.
The moratorium on growing genetically modified canola in our region is one the government believes farmers will be better off for.
We need to get more for what we produce now, and we can do that by going and loudly proclaiming that we are GM free, we're phylloxera free, and we're fruit fly free.
Former grain producer and member for Flinders says that's inaccurate.
The government often spruik the premiums that are available for GM-free commodity grains. The reality is we're often trading at a discount to other states, between 5 and 10%.
The fear for some industry leaders is that the ban on SA will eventually impact our agricultural future.
We've led the way. We've been world leaders in farming systems and agricultural development, and I fear that we're losing that advantage.
But GM-free continues to be a sought-after option for overseas markets.
We can't be the food bowl of Asia. What we can be for Asia is the gourmet delicatessen.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Construction of the Silverton Wind Farm has hit a major milestone with the first set of blades for the turbines arriving in the region. AGL says the project is on time and on budget, with the farm set to take shape in the new year.
As the sun rose over Adelaide, a mammoth task began. An extra-long convoy rolled out of Port Adelaide en route to Broken Hill, carrying the first set of blades for turbines at the Silverton Wind Farm.
Yeah, it's a very exciting time for the Silverton Wind Farm and the community of Silverton, also Broken Hill. These are the biggest blades ever delivered in Australia.
It seems the wind has been blowing in the right direction for the project, with work on schedule at the site.
Yeah, we're well over now, halfway through pouring the concrete foundations. So this is the next big stage. So when you deliver the turbine components, it really does be the commencement of the visual nature of the wind farm starting to take shape.
With each blade measuring in at a staggering 65 metres, motorists are being warned to expect some delays when travelling towards Adelaide.
What they will visually see is either a pilot car or police car, and be a little bit mindful of the size of the load. It's always safer to try and pull off on the edge of the road. Police see traffic coming, they may hold us in a certain area and let that traffic clear.
Once up and running, it'll be one of the biggest facilities in the state.
It's going to be providing enough energy for more than 170,000 average Australian homes. It's going to be a significant piece of generation within New South Wales.
Turbines will start going up around Christmas, with the entire farm expected to be completed by mid-2018. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Amidst soaring electricity prices, an energy expert says there are countless ways to save on the next bill. Port Augusta has hosted a leg of the Energy Smart Saver Tour, an initiative to share some cost-saving tricks with local communities.
While the region suffers from skyrocketing energy prices, it's easy to think there's nothing that can be done. John D disagrees.
Everybody's moaning about the bills, but not enough work has been done to show people the simple ways to reduce those bills, and that's what Energy Smart Saver is all about.
The former business television host is this time presenting a state government initiative, regional seminars helping locals to be energy savvy.
Because the research we've done shows that many people are using way more energy than they need to.
His top tip, don't be loyal to your electricity provider, as switching could save $1,500 a year.
A simple phone call can often save hundreds of dollars. Just call up your existing energy retailer and just say you want the best possible deal from them. Doing that can often save you hundreds of dollars because they can then put you on the best discount available.
He says the average household spends $250 a year on standby power. To prevent this, switch off appliances at the wall. And for those sweltering Port Augusta summers in the months ahead, John recommends using a fan, which only costs around 2 to 5 cents an hour to run. And for air conditioners, set your thermostat between 24 and 27 degrees.
Because a 1 degree change on your air conditioning to cool it will add 10% to your cooling bills. Similar thing in winter, every degree you increase the heating in your home, it's a 10% increase in your heating.
Another Energy Smart Saver seminar will kick off in Port Pirie tonight, but John's cost-saving booklet is available to everyone.
It's a book I've written that's funded by the government. You can download it for free from energysmartsaver.com.au.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
In the news ahead, the breakfast clubs across Port Pirie helping school kids in the classroom. That's next. Well, the Salvos are preparing its annual Christmas gift shop thanks to the community's generosity. Presents from the weekend's Port Augusta Toy Run will go to help an increasing number of families in need.
What's now just a big pile of bags and toys will mean families will have presents under the tree.
So we turn our church into a toy shop and have all the age group and genders all broken down, and then people can come in and they go shopping.
The Port Augusta Salvos has been overwhelmed with generous donations from the weekend's toy run.
Those that turned up were just so generous in what they gave us. We got like a huge trailer load of toys, and we've got that task now of sorting through them, and that's the fun bit for us.
It says numbers of local families needing a helping hand this Christmas has increased, with 30% of those who've already applied for support first-timers.
The positive slant of that is the number hasn't gone up by 30%. So some people we helped last year have been able to get back on their feet and aren't requiring assistance this year, which is great. But for those that are coming, we applaud them for saying, I need a little bit of help.
He says donations for children are overflowing, but there's not much yet for teens.
Mainly male, but both male and female. That's the gap that's hard to buy for, and what they like is always seems to be a bit more expensive. But right up until the 21st is our handout day. We'll take any donation, and anything after that we can still take, we can find homes for.
For adults who need a place to celebrate, the Salvos are preparing its annual Christmas lunch.
And so you need to book in, but it's a great afternoon. We have some entertainment here, and people can just come in and really, really enjoy each other's company and have the laughter and start what the Christmas season's all about.
Most of all this Christmas, we're all being encouraged to give.
It's really hard. A lot of people are embarrassed to put their hand up and say, I need assistance. And again, if we can find those people and assist them, we will. But for those that have a lot, give as much as you can.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Schools across Port Pirie are now providing breakfast clubs for students who often go without. $4,000 was raised to fund the programs earlier this year in a bid to encourage good nutrition and eating behaviours.
It's the most important meal of the day, and now school students across Port Pirie are entering the classroom with a full stomach.
To raise money for a valuable cause, but also engage with members of the community and having a good day out on the golf course.
$4,000 was raised at a golf day, which will be divided between 6 breakfast clubs.
Schools in Port Pirie, there are 6 of them, including Napperby, that are receiving funding from this event. $645 went to each of the breakfast clubs at 6 schools. That money will then go towards purchasing food for the breakfast clubs, as well as purchasing equipment, upgrading toasters and that type of thing.
The breakfast club's now transitioning into a social club as well. With many clubs already underway, teachers say they've noticed an improvement in students' behaviour as well.
Having a good breakfast before school helps you function better and concentrate on your work, especially as a Year 7, you have a lot of work to do.
You know, they've settled themselves down from any issues they may have had before they came to school. They're a lot calmer and they're able to enter the day feeling a lot better about themselves.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
To the region's petrol prices now, and the start of December has seen prices continue on the upward trend. Here's Patrick with Fuel Watch.
Christmas is fast approaching, but it's not very merry when we head to the Bowser. Let's take a look at unleaded. Port Lincoln is the only one to see green, but the price is still $1.39, the most expensive in the Spencer Gulf. Whyalla and Port Augusta are both hovering around $1.38, while Port Pirie enjoys one of the cheaper price points around the region at $1.30. Kadina is a cent dearer, but doing a lot better than Broken Hill, which sits on $1.39. Adelaide is on its way back up, but it's still relatively cheap. To diesel now, and Whyalla has seen a 3-cent drop, while Port Lincoln has seen a 3-cent rise. Port Augusta is up by 5 cents and is now on $1.35. Port Pirie is up by 2 cents, Kadina is up by 3. Broken Hill is paying the most though at $1.39, and Adelaide rounds out the board at a very savvy $1.37. So make sure you're shopping around for the best price for fuel this holiday season, and remember that these prices are the regional averages and they do not reflect any one particular outlet. And also be sure to let us know if you find a spot that does sell it for cheaper by visiting our Facebook page.
Stay with us after the break. The weather. And Abby, it was a beautiful summer's day across all centres.
Yes, it certainly was, Fraser. But before we get too excited, a bit of wet weather is on the way. I'll have all the details next. Well, it certainly looked like summer across the region today with plenty of sunshine. Temps warmed up to 30 degrees in Port Augusta, cooler in the west, but a beautiful day, 23 the top for Port Lincoln, and it was a sunny and warm 28-degree day in Port Pirie. On the satellite, and the reason behind this beautiful weather today is because of patchy cloud over southern parts of South Australia with onshore winds bringing virtually no rain. Skies are clearer over north and central parts under a ridge of high pressure. Taking a look at our waters for tomorrow, south to southwesterly winds between 20 to 25 knots, seas at a metre with a south-southwesterly swell. And sunrise is just after 6 a.m. tomorrow with sunset just before 8:20. Taking a look at tomorrow's forecast, we'll see a drop in temps around the region as well as a burst of showers. They will be relatively light though. Fine and 24 the top for Port Augusta, just 19 the top for Port Lincoln tomorrow, and even cooler in Coffin Bay, heading for a max of 17 degrees. It's set to be fine and hot in Broken Hill with the mercury rising to 31 degrees, and scattered showers and just 19 the top for Cleve. Looking ahead, after some gorgeous weather for your hump day, we will see some rain and wind about on Thursday and a dip in temps, just 19 the top for Port Lincoln and Cleve. But the good news is it will fine up and temps will steadily rise from Friday into some gorgeous conditions for the weekend. Sunny and temps around the mid-20s for Port Lincoln and Cleve by Sunday, and even warmer in Woodner, 31 the top to end the weekend. Further up the Gulf, some scattered showers will sweep over Whyalla and Kadina tomorrow, but it's looking like a lovely fine day in Port Augusta, 24 the top, and plenty of sunshine around the region to end the week, with temps to warm up into the high 20s, low 30s by Sunday. Sunny and a beautiful 31-degree day for Port Augusta. And finally, it's going to remain fine for Port Pirie and Clare tomorrow, but temps will be quite cool before they warm up for the weekend. Port Pirie is heading for a lovely summer's day on Sunday, while Broken Hill will reach a max of 31 degrees. So, Fraser, it looks like we're in for some beautiful conditions for the weekend.
Thank you, Abby. And that is Southern Cross News for this Wednesday. Thanks for your company. Enjoy your evening. Good night.